The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. Additional support is provided by Jelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at jelsma.com.
Additional support is provided by SoundTraxx, Model Railroader's Reader's Choice Award winner for Favorite Sound Decoder 2 years in a row. Now, for more information, please visit us at SoundTraxx.com, on our YouTube channel at SoundTraxx Videos, or your favorite retailer today.
And by the Gateway St. Louis 2020 NMRA. Meet me in St. Louis, July 12th through the 18th, 2020. For more information on this, check out their website at www.gateway2020.org. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 111 for April 4th, 2020. We're going to accumulate and put this show together as I don't have everybody in the studio since we are still on lockdown for the foreseeable weeks. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the hobby and it's all good. And I'm going to start with talking to you a little bit more about the progress on the Garden Railroad because I have been in the backyard running around barefoot for a couple of days working on it. And what I've accomplished this week is, like I said last week, I started working on the area where the bowl is. The bowl is the area where there used to be a very large 33-foot trestle. And this time on the curved 10-foot radius track, I have been sliding on brand new ties. And there's a trick to doing that. I've actually created this jig that holds the 6-inch sections of microengineering tie material in it. And the reason for this is you need something that holds the ties absolutely at the same angle as you slide it through the rail. Here in the video you can see me trying to hook up and get the rail bottom of the flanges to slide above the spikes. The spikes are very small on this track, which is why I like using this track. It gives for great detail outside. So as you see, I'm sliding this on, and once you get it on and you slide it with this jig mechanism that I've made, it's just easy as can be. So super good progress on that. I've been working through the night. I actually set up spotlights. The weather's been super warm here. We had like a 72-degree day, and believe me, that's a vacation. Whereas even in the night, I set up a few thousand watts of lights, those halogen lights that I've got, and I went out there and you can see the parts of the railroad ties that I have replaced, the different color differentiations on the track. You can literally see 3 years of replacement. It's like sedimentary. It just gives it away. But the fact is, I brought in a few pieces of track on this curved section, and I've been replacing the ties on that. And the only thing I've got left to do at this point is to get some plywood forms, just 4-inch high plywood, nail it in completely level, and start pouring cement around that 10-foot radius. And hopefully I'll have that done in the next 2 weeks. I know I wanted to get it done this week, but I literally have not traveled or gone anywhere. The family has stayed home, and we've all just been working on projects around here, including myself, which I tell you what, it's just normal life for me. I did finally get the Dash 9 to run outside. This is an old Aristocraft Dash 9, and you know, with the multiple 4 motors that are built into the trucks, this thing runs really well. But as I brought it along the bowl section there, you're going to see how uneven the track work is. It truly does need to have sub-road bed put under it to make it solid and replace the little bricks and the gravel ballast that I've got out there. It actually flipped over one time. I didn't get that part on video, just as well I didn't. But there she is, running around in all of its glory. And I look forward to giving you guys more further updates on that. And maybe as I pour the cement, I can do a segment for the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. That show is still in production. I tell you what, I Campbell Rice came over here and did a video on how to make roads before this lockdown took place. So George, it's really nice when you got a crew of folks out here helping me do stuff. It just makes it so we don't run out of material for the shows. And on this show, we're going to have Rand Hood a little bit later on. Daniel Coombs has filmed a segment from his basement to show the progress on his layout. We've got James Regier and so many of the podcast crew members that are going to shoot video from their own shops in their own location. Send me that video and I'll start stitching them in. Because it looks like for the foreseeable weeks, this is how we are going to produce the show. And with that, I am absolutely honored to have George Bogatiuk from Durango, Colorado on Skype with me. George, welcome to the What's Neat This Week podcast show, brother.
I'm at home here.
And that layout you've got behind you is absolutely beautiful. Talk a little bit about that.
So this is my small little switching layout. It's a HO scale. It's about 20 foot long and it's about 2 feet wide, and gives me some industrial switching and some things like that that'll actually give me some place to play with all these decoders in these locomotives. So I get to actually run the locomotives and do the switching and things like that on this small little layout. So it's actually been a lot of fun. It's a small little scenic project. So what do you say we take a quick tour?
Oh, I want to take a tour. Just before you do, tell me, what kind of decoders are in those engines?
Well, those are the SoundTraxx Tsunami 2. And one thing we are happy to announce, we did get this award. So I've got this little sign here to show you. This is the Model Railroader Magazine's Reader's Choice Award for Favorite Sound Decoder. This is 2 times in a row for 2019 and 2020.
Wow.
And so with our Tsunami 2, we are very happy to be able to say that this is the reader's choice, and we are very honored to have everybody enjoying what they're using. And so we definitely want to keep moving forward, and thank you for everybody who voted.
Fantastic. What an honor to have received that award 2 years in a row, which shows that your sound systems are top notch.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know there's been a lot of stiff competition. I mean, there's some good products out there, but the readers have found that our product is just a little bit better.
That's the way it should be. I love it when it all works out. So take us on a tour of your beautiful layout there.
Sure.
It seems like it's just the right size for testing.
It is. So I'm going to remove the camera here off of the tripod.
Okay.
And we'll take you around a little bit. So I'm going to apologize for the shaky video here. But we're going to go ahead and turn you around and just kind of look a little bit here. This is where I've got a grain elevator in progress that'll be working, and I've got some tracks there. This is a feed mill over here that I can take hopper cars, flat cars, box cars, and so forth back in there. There's some scenery back in the back corner to just kind of help hide the corner.
Very nice. I love the color of those walls.
Now the walls, I took a lot of time to pick the blue that I chose here, but these are just templates that are cut out of poster board basically, and I just took a spray can and just kind of shot it over using the edges so you can kind of see how the edges kind of match a little bit, and they blend in just using spray cans.
That looks really good. I love the way that mask worked out. It looks very right is what it looks.
Yeah. And if you look closely up top here, you can see that I've actually painted the inside of underneath of the shelf and the fascia up here with that same blue, because I found when I used the lights up here that the brown of the wood would be reflected down and give it kind of an amber color. And so I wanted to make sure to hide as much of that as I can. So with this, I've got some good coloring, I think, on the way the layout is lit. And then I'm using these dimmable LED sunlight bulbs.
I was going to ask,
so they actually give off a daylight spectrum.
So those are dimmable LEDs. They do give very even light on your whole room there.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the way that's turned out. So, but anyway, as we move down here, I've got a warehouse right here yet to be named. It's a work in progress. The building is, kind of hollow and so forth, but it's getting its Coca-Cola delivery there, as you can see. Then as we move down, this is a fun building here. It's called Priority Warehouse. And this is just a piece of foam core that I cut and basically built a building. But the original placeholder so I could lay the track out was a priority mailbox that I had gotten in the mail. And I was like, well, might as well use this. So I cut it up and fit a footprint. And so that's why I call it the Priority Warehouse now. Nice. Is so that way it gives a homage back to that first priority mailbox that came in there.
Now, have you set up that layout so that you can operate on it? Do you remember 2 shows back, we talked about operation for like the first time on this show, and it was fascinating to talk about.
Operation is one thing that I'm very passionate about, and you can kind of see here on the front fascia here, I've got the car cards and waybills laid out. So every spot, every industry has a pocket here that I can put the cards, and then there's a little work table right here that I can organize and set everything out and make everything where it goes. So, and one of the advantages is using the Tsunami 2, we've got prototypical braking, both independent and automatic, and as well, of course, of the dynamic digital exhaust and all those other features. So it really comes to life when I'm running the layout, because now I can stop and pick the cars up and use the brakes as I come into the cars to pick them up and out of there. And then when I tie into a full train like you see here, then I can set the independent or the automatic brakes on the full train, and then you'll hear a different brake set sounds, as well as run the locomotive and have momentum a little bit different.
I love that. And I think you hit F11 to make that happen. Isn't that right?
Yes. F11 is our brake activation. F12 toggles between the independent and the automatic brakes.
True. Absolutely amazing. So, I do remember making some of those videos for SoundTraxx about 5 years ago, and they taught me about all the internal features of those decoders. When you go out and you buy a brand new Athearn locomotive, this is a full function decoder that you get with an Athearn locomotive. And there are so many things that it will do. And if you don't read about it and learn how to do these things, you're really kind of missing out, because the braking feature is amazing, and so is the dynamic digital exhaust. Wouldn't you say, George?
Yes, and I will say that if you're not sure, or you read the manual, you don't get it, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we do post short little videos about how to use the product and what you can do with it. And we also give you certain features and things like that, all about the decoders, on our YouTube channel. And we post those videos every week, so be sure to subscribe, and you'll get notifications when we do post new videos.
That's amazing. Now, out of the box, the general Athearn locomotive, when you're running these high-quality models from Athearn, they're not set up where the engine will throttle up and throttle down by itself based on the load or whether it's going on a hill. But you can set up those decoders so they will do that, can't you?
Absolutely. They are, as you mentioned, they are full featured. There's nothing pared down. So anything that we talk about in our videos that talk about Tsunami 2, you can do with it as well.
That's awesome. Thank you, Nancy, and all the folks at Jen and everybody that works so hard down in Durango to make these decoders that make us all happy. Because it truly is the animation that has been brought to the models in the last 10 years that has just knocked people's socks off, and it's truly changed the dynamics of operation and running your layout.
Oh, absolutely. It really does make it more fun and more interactive, more so than just simply turning a knob on a power pack and spinning your throttle, which is fantastic. And we'll talk about the controls here in a few seconds.
Yes.
But just want to finish up real quick here. We can go through, I've got a small plastics facility here, and in the back that will be a Coca-Cola bottling plant with an illuminated sign.
Wow, nice.
You can kind of see that up there. This is one of my favorite scenes, this road right here, kind of like an urban canyon there. And just worked on this here a little bit. Actually, you guys are seeing this scenery here for the first time. I did this all last night and mounted the light poles and everything up there.
Very cool.
And
yeah, I like that.
One thing I'll show you, it's a neat little detail, is especially with the internet, you can go online and find old advertisements. And so what I did there, if you look in the window of the Chevy dealership, you can actually see old 1978 Chevrolet ads in the windows on the dealership. And then just a small little yard, little fiddle yard, and I've got the lights. I've got a lot of these Woodland Scenics just plug lights, and I'm in the process of working on this one here. But you talked about the Tsunami 2 sound. I was going to say this is quickly becoming one of my favorites, because this 12-cylinder EMD 567 is on our EMD-2, and it just sounds so unique and so cool.
Cool.
So, but anyway, that's kind of everything there. Well, you talked about operation. I'll throw in a couple little caveats. I've got these figures right here you can kind of see. And if you notice, they've got their red flags.
Okay.
And these are flagmen. So when the railroad stopped, especially in dark territory, they had to set out a flagman. And so, Ken, from you, I learned how to use foam scenery. And so each of these guys has a pin that I can just simply stab them into the phone scenery. So where I need to put the flagman, I can put the flagman around. And then if I need to throw a turnout, since they're all manually done, I can put a figure in front of the turnout before I throw it to make sure that A, I throw it beforehand, but B, we always forget about the people of railroading. And since in order to throw this switch, this train, he would have to get out and walk this duration before he could start to move, and he would have to clear. And so in order to do that, it helps make sure I don't run into any closed switches. And then the last one I'll throw out to you is a little fun one here. I took a figure who's posed climbing a ladder, and on his hand I put a little brass hook. And so when I need a brakeman to ride the car, I can simply hang him on the handrails.
Very cool.
And he can simply ride the cars to make sure that he's able to set the brakes and or throw the switches as the train moves. So it's that extra element of operation that you kind of have to add in a small layout like this, because if you try to race through, you could be done in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But when you start adding in those aspects of operation, now everything slows down, and now we're a lot more involved in running our trains than we are just simply racing around and just throwing cars on industries.
I want to ask you a question that ties in with that operating show that we had the other day. How many people are able to operate with you, and about how long does it take to do a session?
So usually what I'll do is I'll have about three or four other people come over, usually can operate two at a time. One will be operating the industrial area, the other will be operating the yard and kind of building and breaking down trains, while the other two sit over, eat chips and salsa, soda, adult beverages, and heckle the two that are operating.
There you go.
And then when the session ends, then they flip-flop roles. And so the two that were heckling are now the hecklees, and they get to be made fun of while they're operating, and the other guys eat chips and salsa.
That is way cool. I want to take this moment to say briefly to everybody out there, the NMRA 2020 National Convention is still on. When I woke up, I think it was about Wednesday, there was rumors on Facebook that it had been canceled. It's completely unfounded. That was the large-scale convention that was taking place in St. Louis in, I believe it was a month earlier, that has been canceled. But the NMRA show from July, NMRA convention from July 12th through the 18th. That show is still a go. And if you look at the Gateway 2020 NMRA convention website, I've got it right in front of me, and I'm looking at it myself tonight for the very first time. They've got all of the general tours on there. The Grants Farm Tour, the Anheuser-Busch Tour, the tour over there of the Port Harbor Railroad. There's a lot of prototype tours. The Terminal Railroad Association is one of the tours. And also, if you look on this brand new website, this is the new website that shows everything you can sign up for, all the clinics, all the layout tours and everything. I'm clicking on layout tours right there, and rock and roll, there I am. On Thursday, y'all can take a bus down here and come see the Garden Railroad, the interior layout that we have here, and I'll have plenty of friends down here to help coordinate things. And everything's laid out, the prices, the times, this layout, this internet website, somebody did a lot of work on it. So good job. Hats off to the 2020 Gateway crew that has put this together. I'm very impressed with this. George, you got to check this out. Look at that. I'm on the top of the list. There's my name right there. Rock and roll.
Well, I'm sure hoping we're going for it, because I sure can't wait to come out there and see you guys again.
Yes, it is going to be a fabulous summer. It's going to be time for us all to just thank our lucky stars and just be happy. And I'm looking forward to those beautiful warm days of summer. Now, George, one thing that I've noticed, I went to Mark Twain Hobby out here when you were in St. Louis, and I watched you do a clinic, and I've seen some of your recorded clinics on the internet. And by the way, I love these two locomotives you did for me. These are these Broadway Limited models that I adore, M1A and M1B, as I believe is what these are. But you put SoundTraxx, the full-blown Tsunami 2 in each one for me, and you put the speakers inside the locomotives themselves. You pulled out those smoke units, because I don't like smoke. It makes drippy drip all over the model. But it's really cool to have the speakers in the locomotive boiler, where it sounds like the sound is coming out of it like it's supposed to.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things I did for you was I put one of the cube speakers up front, and then we had the two speakers in the tender. And what that did is it distributed the sound over the entire length of the locomotive, so that it helps fool your ears into believing that it's coming from the locomotive. Because those locomotives are so big, it's kind of ruins the illusion, especially when you get down and look at it, where the locomotive passes and then here comes the sound out of the tender. And so that helps distribute the sound over. Plus, those cube speakers that we have are such a great frequency range response that you can hear a lot more of those low end frequencies as well.
That's amazing. The very first time Chris Palomares brought one of those over here, I was blown away at the quality and the differential of sound. But what I was alluding to is the fact that every time I saw you at Mark Twain Hobbies and you're doing that pitch, and I mean, you're going through every single thing that these decoders will do. And in your hand, I always see you holding this great big, this NCE power cab. Oh, look, there it is. You've got one. You've got the power cab.
Just like this.
I got the Pro cab. The one you've got in your hand is the $199 one that Daniel Coombs really likes. Why do you like doing all of your demos with this? Tell me what it is about NCE that you love.
Well, honestly, the biggest thing is its transportability. It's easy to transport. It packs well into a small container and our suitcase. And it's a full functioning DCC system, and so it does give me access to program all the CVs. I can activate all of the functions 0 through 28, and it's really easy. It fits in my hand well, and it's pretty durable, quite frankly. I mean, there's more than once this thing has found the concrete floor below my feet here, but for the most part, it's easy to do.
So you're saying it's durable? You've dropped it a few times?
Shh!
Okay.
Don't tell Jim.
I know. That's actually that's freaking good news.
So, but I mean, this honestly, part of it is I use it here because this is just a fairly small layout, usually running 2 to 3 locomotives at a time. But it is expandable, and that's one of the things I do like about it is as a beginner system for NCE, if I do upgrade my system later on, I just simply change the cord out from a flat cord, bear with me here, to a coiled cord.
Right.
And now this power cab just simply becomes another throttle on my NCE power system.
True that. Have you experimented with the radio in your basement yet?
I have not. I don't really find that I have a need for it in this short basement. And so I've got a couple of outlets. Well, they're not immediately right here, but I have 2 outlets here. So I can actually plug in 4 throttles and operate all at the same time. So, and since we're only walking 20 feet, those coiled cords and so forth are more than enough to operate.
That rocks. Now, for my 127 foot that goes all the way around the room, I did put 2 radios, one in the ceiling over there and the other one over by my desk. And it's really convenient just to be able to be on the fly. And I can also gain locomotives that way, select locomotives that I want to run without having to plug anything in, not have to push any buttons. It's just ready to go. It's really cool that you like this system, man. I'm glad to hear a real live, a person that uses it. I mean, how more honest can it be than that? George, I want to wish you all guys the best in Durango, and tell us what website that we would want to go to in order to look up these beautiful Tsunami decoders and how to get them.
So, first thing I want to mention is with this lockdown and so forth, we are an electronics manufacturer, so we are still working and still building our decoders in Durango. However, we are working with limited staff. We're working with timing and so forth to go in and out of the office, so we're not all there at the whole time. For example, I'll be doing the first part of my day working from home, and Josh will start our tech support technician. He'll be in the office the first part of the day, and then midway we'll switch. He'll go home and finish the day. So we are working on trying to get all your emails responded to in this difficult time. So, be patient. But for the website, you can go to SoundTraxx.com. And one of the reason I mentioned that is because on our SoundTraxx.com website, you actually do have alternate temporary phone numbers. So if we're not immediately in the office, you can call us, and we do have these portable little cell phones that Josh and I have that we can answer your questions. So we're not leaving you out to dry. But you can go to SoundTraxx.com. You can see all the different decoder board formats that we offer. You can purchase directly online from us, or if you'd rather go to your local retailer, they do have them in stock as well. Also on our YouTube channel, you can search SoundTraxx videos, or you can link directly on the SoundTraxx website to go to watch the YouTube videos where we do a lot of the demonstrations and show you a lot of the cool things that the decoder can do. And also be sure to like our Facebook and sign up to our newsletter, customer news at SoundTraxx.com.
That's quite a website. I'm on it right now. I love having this laptop at the table here. That building that you all built is beautiful. That structure is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and one real quick thing I did want to mention is as we get information from our retailers regarding their hours and during this whole shutdown, so forth. So we do actually have a retailer forum page where we invite the retailers to let us know what's going on so that we can put the information in more than one site to hopefully let their customers know what's going on as well, so that they can either purchase or buy from them, or whatever needs to accordingly. So some are shut down completely. Others are doing phone orders and curbside pickup. So be sure to check out that forum if you want to know what your latest retailer's up to.
Super good, George. I appreciate you being part of this show. We're going to record all these segments and put them together. I've got Daniel Coombs next to show about his home layout and what he's been working on. So George, stay safe, and thank you so much for being with us.
No problem. Thank you, Ken, and be safe, and we hope to see you soon.
Awesome, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, thanks, Ken, for having me on this week's podcast. For this quick little segment I got to update you guys on is I'm going to show you right now of a major change I just made to a corner of my layout. Not this corner. You see this incline right here? It's the Woodland Scenic incline. Now, of course, what that means is I'm making a hill, but you're asking where is it going? Well, let me just show you. What I'm doing here is I'm just building a tunnel that I had all my scrap pieces of foam to use, and I thought it'd be a waste just to throw them away or just give to someone, whereas I can utilize those pieces and cut them in different shapes, to make the foundation of now what's going to be the tunnel here. So my other plan, and then I thought on the top of it, is instead of just making mountains, I'm going to go on ahead and just make a town. So at that incline section coming up on the far back track of the main yard there, it's going to come into a few switches here and there, and there's going to be a coal mine up here around this part back here, and then maybe a little industry or a warehouse facility, and then make like a little mining town in some way, shape, or form. And as you see, I got it roughed in. Some of the pieces are pinned in, and my plan is, of course, now to go out with the final carving of the not Woodland Scenics, but carving with the tools, usually these planers or saws or any other tools that you might use for carving out and shaping out your mountains. And of course, what I'm also going to do is consider getting the Great Stuff can. I know Ken is always talking about it. It's great stuff. The name of it there, it's good. Anyways, I'm going to just, of course, fill the gaps in here and there. And then when I got back here is a little gap with a wall that I'm going to, when I spray this stuff in here, it's going to, of course, expand out. That's the only drawback to using this cheap can of the Great Stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wooden support back here so that way the foam doesn't crush and push this all the way out and breaks the glue that I had set in on this back wall. So for right now, I'm just going to go on ahead and just continue with it. Look for my updates on Facebook. You got me friend on Facebook. Again, on the podcast, I'll later on have updates here and there to show you guys how I'm progressing with this. So, Ken, I appreciate you letting me be in on this week's podcast. Let's move on to the next segment now.
Good morning, Ken Patterson and the What's Neat Train Show. It's great to be on your show today, and I say greetings from beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. Today I want to just show you a few of the items that Jelsma Graphics has, and that is available on the internet. I want everybody to know that we are open for business, and every item that we ship, we make sure that it is sanitized and it is safe. First of all, we do nothing but embroidery, and this is high quality, and we do ones and twos, and we call the onesie twosies, and this is our business. So if you are in a club and you want 3 or 4 or 5 shirts, we can do that. If you're just a rail fan, want one hat, you could do that. I just shipped out a hat to Colorado to a guy that bought just one hat, and this is our business, and we love it. First of all, I'd like to just say I hope every one of you are very safe and keep your social distancing to a minimum, and that in your quarantine or your limited access, that maybe you could take time and visit us on the web. Our website is just very simple. It's Jelsma at Jelsma.com. And it's just Jelsma.com, actually. Our email is Jelsma@Jelsma.com. And the J is pronounced like a Y, but it's Jelsma. As a boy growing up in the Midwest, I had great fond memories, and I know many of you have the same as I. I remember my dad holding my hand, taking me down to the train station to watch the Zephyrs roll in, the Milwaukee Hiawatha's, the Wabash, the Rocky Mountain Rocket, and you could create those memories that you had when you were a boy. And I did the same thing. I made a jacket, and I want to just show you this jacket. This jacket is my memories of the Rock Island and my dad taking me down to the depot. 1949. He showed me this engine right here in Des Moines, Iowa, and it was pulling the eastbound Rocky Mountain Rocket. And boy, I have such fond memories. And I could still hear and feel the engine roaring. And as I grew up, I watched these different engines. And I put this on a jacket. This happens to be my jacket. And by the way, this year is the 20th year of this jacket. And then on the front, we have it customized with my name. This is a jacket that we specialize in doing, and we would love to make you a jacket of your memories when you were a child. We also make shirts. This here is a dress shirt. It's a very high quality dress shirt, and we put your name or your logo here. On mine, many of you that have seen me at train shows, I wear this particular shirt, and I have a logo on the sleeve, my favorite railroads, and then on the back we could also put a logo. This happens to be the California Zephyr, which I totally love. We also make stocking caps. This is a new item we added this year, and we could make whatever your favorite railroad. Right now, we are right at 1,300 railroad logos, plus probably 200 or so private label logos. We also have denim shirts. This is very popular. The denim shirts, and you could have a logo just on the front. This is very economical. We also do t-shirts, and we do polo shirts. Here is a high quality polo shirt that we made for an historical society that we do every year. And then naturally, the staple, we do hats. This is our very newest logo, and it's called the Frisco Firefly. But during your isolation and time of safety, do go to our website and look at Jelsma.com and look for our various logos. Just click on the page, it says logos, and you'll be absolutely fascinated. We feel that our products are the very highest quality that we could make. Once again, give us a call or go on our website at Jelsma.com. Have a great day. What's neat in model railroading, people?
Okay. Yeah, hey, this is James, normally on What's Neat This Week, and I've been working on this GP60M. That'll be appearing in a What's Neat video near you at some point soon, and working with Ken to try and find ways to bring us all into his basement without being in this basement during this time when we're all supposed to stay at home. So, yeah, keep calm, keep playing with the trains.
Hey, I'm Rand Hood, and I love being a train nut, so much so I even lettered my bike for Rio Grande, particularly because it was the right color. Anyway, we're having fun out here in Colorado. We're staying safe, we're doing the right thing, and getting some exercise is also good. But hey, you guys, work on your projects. Lots of things to do on the layout. Anything you want to do, now the time to do it, spend with your family. I'll see you guys next week. I've got some projects I want to share, but for now, I'm going to enjoy this mountain air. See ya.
And so with that, that's show number 111. Best hobby in the world with the best people in it. Thank you so much, George Bogatiuk. I love Daniel Coombs, Denny Jelsma, James Regier, and of course, Rand Hood, who we're going to see next week on the show. And with that, guys, let's stay safe and let's go run some trains.